The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and welcome to the Metro MLS webinar on using the tax information system within Flex MLS. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through all of the functionality that you can use in our tax information or our WireData site. We do teach how to search, do basic parcel searches and run mailing labels in WireData in our advanced class, but there's quite a bit more that you can do in the site. So we just wanted to make that available for you guys. So in case you felt that you could use some of those features, you know how to use them. This webinar, it will be recorded. It is being recorded. So within 24 hours, we'll be sending out the recording to you guys. Feel free to share it, replay it anytime that you need. The way that we'll run this webinar is that I'll cover each section and then I'll open the floor to questions. If you have a question on your GoToWebinar control panel, you should see a little hand icon. When you click that, that puts a little hand next to your name and lets me know that one of you guys have a question. And then once I'll open the floor to questions, I'll go ahead and ask that. You'll type your questions in, I believe there's a chat box or a questions box. I'm not sure what it is on your side. But you just type your question that's in there that you have. I'll read the question and answer the question aloud to the group. All right. So if you can hear me, go ahead and just so you know where that chat box is, go ahead and type in yes or I can hear you or hello or just some indication. Let me know that you are out there. Okay, I see Linda has a a little hand raised. Linda, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, the hand went down. I'm going to assume that you don't have a question. Just in case you have trouble locating where the chat box is, I'm just going to type in a little message there and send it to you guys so you can there you go. I see you. All righty. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my tab over to the Flex MLS tab. So to access tax information, if you don't have it up here in your shortcut bar, you can click on your menu button. That'll open up your main menu tree, and then underneath tax info, you've got tax information there. If you don't have it as a shortcut in your shortcut bar up here, you can add it as a shortcut simply by clicking the star that's to the left of it. If that star is not colored yellow, when you left click it, it'll color it yellow. That means that that item has been added to your shortcut bar. That bar is really handy for menu items that you use with a lot of frequency, so you don't have to click menu, go through this, whatever. You can just click on it right at the top of your bar. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on tax information, and that's going to open us up to our WireData site. So when you see this blue and gray site, you know that you're in the right place. All right, so we're going to cover everything that's in this menu here today. Before we do that, just a little note on the information that you see in the screen here for update information. So it says, please refer to the update information section located below for counties and municipalities indicating when the data was last updated. You'll see a little red new label next to the display date if it's been updated within the last 2 weeks. When assessor data is unavailable on a tax record, we've got a link to an assessor source list here. So if you click that link, it's going to open up a PDF guide giving you the assessment sites for each of the municipalities there. If there's one in here that you can't find, remember using Google as your friend. Just search for whatever the name is of the municipality assessor site, and it generally will pop up underneath that. All right. Any questions you have specifically for information in WireData, you can call directly to WireData at this number that I just highlighted here. Support down here, if you need to learn how to do something or know how to do something, you can call support. But if you have information in regards to a particular tax record that's in there, unfortunately, we can't answer that for you, and we'd have to direct you up to our WireData department, and this is the number directly to them. So you can bypass us and call up there. Either Pond or Dorothy will answer your questions. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So going over here into the menu, this first option that you see here, choose counties. Couple ways you can use that. So I'm just going to left click it to open it up. All right. So if there's counties that you search with regularity, you really don't, veer off the track from certain counties. So whenever you click on any of these search engines and you want automatically for those counties to show up, this is where you could set your preferences for that. So if I were to say I search Washington, Ozaki, Milwaukee, and Waukesha, I can do up to 4. I can do that and then save my counties. So now, just to show you what that looks like, when I do any search that's over here in the menu, I'll click on address, those counties will automatically be pre-populated for me. So I can just go ahead and pick the one that I'm searching on. Let's say the second option for using that, let's say you come in here and you do a search and whatever's populated here, you're like, you know what, I need to search a different county. I don't need one of these. I need to clear this. So if you need to clear these counties, you can go right back into choose counties, hit restore, deselect those counties or make different selections, totally up to you. I typically leave mine clear because when we're helping you guys, we're kind of all over the place. So when I hit save counties, so now when I click on any of the search engines, it'll give me my choice of counties to search. So again, you can use choose counties to pre-select your counties for going into search, or you can use choose counties to clear those selections so you could get a blank slate, so to speak. So I'm just going to go back in, since I'm going to kind of be sticking to the same examples here. I'm just going to go back in and select those. And the way that they're alphabetized, they're in rows, not columns, so you'll find yourself going side to side looking for stuff. All right. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you, did I hit save counties? Here we go. Okay. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is underneath search. Underneath search, these are all of the search engines that you have access to search for parcels. So the first one, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask if there was any questions after the choose counties section. I see a hand there. So Linda, go ahead and ask me your question. Oh, okay. No problem. No question. False alarm. All right. So now I'm going to search by address. I'll show you how to do an address search. So clicking on address search, it brought up my pre-selected counties here. So let's say I wanted to search an address in Menominee Falls. So that would be Waukesha County. So I'm going to hit this drop down arrow and it shows me all of the taxing municipalities for that county. If there's an area that you're looking for and you don't see it in the list, that means it's not a taxing municipality. It may be like unincorporated or something like that. Example would be Wind Lake in Racine County. I think it's an unincorporated area, but Wind Lake is located in the taxing municipality of Norway. So that's kind of an example of that. So I'm going to do Menominee Falls, Village of. Now, Menominee Falls is known for those addresses, the firehouse addresses or directional addresses with the N12, W345667, da 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 da. Okay, so when you're searching one of those addresses, you want to put that entire address string with no spaces in the street number field. So I'm going to enter that in. I'm going to do N92, W16948. All right, and skip on over to the street name, and I believe this is Roger Avenue. I'm simply going to type in Roger. I'm not going to use avenue, street, boulevard, anything like that. Whenever you're searching in WireData, less is more because it's very particular. It likes for you to put it in exactly the way that it's listed on the tax record. And if you don't get it that way, it could cause a lot of frustration. All right, so now I'm going to hit search. All right, so there's our address here. So this is where the tax bills go to. This is the property address, Roger Avenue. When you are inputting a listing into the system, the property address is always the address that should be used. I know Washington County has, they're one example of taxing municipalities and mailing municipalities being different. You always have to use the property address when you're entering in a listing, and you can always come in here and confirm that. All right, so there's a tax key number, Village of Menominee Falls. So this is the assessor's view. What I want to look at is the full report view. So you see this little menu right here that's showing you the information that you're looking at, which is the assessor's view. You can click that and you can select the full report view. So this shows you everything that that municipality made available to us for us to put into our WireData site. So the first section is the assessments from 2009 to current. We're still working on getting our 2018 information loaded. Same tax year. We got the total tax, first dollar credit, lottery credit, net tax, if there was any special taxes or assessments charged on it, and then the full pay amount. Doesn't tell you if it was paid, just what they were charged. Assessor's information you'll get. Now this can differ from municipalities. Some municipalities are really giving with their information. They'll have a nice filled out report that's here. A lot of municipalities, you'll see all this information is blank. So if there's something that you need that you don't see here, you'll have to contact that municipality directly. All right, but we've got the assessor's information that's here. And then the legal description. So it's in the Forest River, whatever PT stands for. And then if there's any sales information, that'll be listed here. Okay. All right, so that's an example of how to do one of those directional address searches, just that whole string together, no spaces in the street number field, and simply use the name of the street. All right. Now I'm going to modify this search and just show you a simpler one that's here in Milwaukee County. So I'm just going to unselect that. Oops, got to select it first to unselect it. So I'm going to show you just a simple address search in Milwaukee County. So I'm going to use Wauwatosa as the municipality. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that address and I'm going to type in my Wauwatosa address, which is 4446. Now in this case, I'm going to put in the N for north because it's a street number, and then 106. I don't have to, but there may be, this address may exist on the other side of town. I know Wauwatosa is not on the other side of town, but you can put this in. You can choose not to. Sometimes I put it in, sometimes I don't, but I chose to put it in this time. So when you're putting in a street name, if it's a number, don't do the TH or the ST or whatever after it. Just do the number itself, and then you hit search, and there's our address in Tosa. Okay. Do we have any questions on address search? All right, I don't see any hand icons, so we're going to move along. All right, so now we're going to show you how to do an address range search. So an address range search, for example, if you wanted to search from a beginning address number to an ending address number of a particular street. Okay, so let's say you wanted to see all of the addresses between, let's say we'll use Wauwatosa again. So let's say I wanted to see all of the addresses between this address 11110 to 11600 on Blue Mound. BLUEMOUND. All right. So now I'm going to hit search. So there, it's telling me I've got 19 total parcels between that address range. And it's, a mixed district, mostly businesses that are over there. But you can see here, I'll just open up one of the residential looking ones there. So this is the property address. It's a commercial property. There's where the tax bill, so the owner lives in San Francisco. So this is the information that's on this particular property. And how I just opened up this report so I wouldn't lose my search results. Let me just close this tab. You see the little magnifying glass there? That will open up that record in a new tab, so you still got your search results here. Okay? All right, so you can see there it's letting you know what the class and the assessments and stuff is. All right, so just to look at the remaining parcels, you've got a next page button here. So that'll take you to the remaining parcels that are in that address range. If you ever need to modify your search results without starting the whole thing over, on your results page, you'll have this little modify button. When you click that, that'll take you back in and let you modify your existing search results without erasing what you previously entered. Okay? Any questions on the address range? Alrighty, I don't see any hands, so we will move on. Next, let's do a search by owner name. Okay, so if you wanted to see, if you couldn't remember the address, or maybe you got the wrong address, but you knew the owner's name of a property, that would be an example of doing that. So here, I'm going to, let's search the entire county because I'm going to make up a name, of Milwaukee. So, there's got to be someone with the last name Smith in Milwaukee County. Let's do first name Joshua. All right. So now when I hit search, so there's only 8 people in Milwaukee County with the name of Joshua Smith. So here's your entries here, the property address, the municipalities that they reside in, county, and tax key number. And again, you can just click the little magnifying glass to open up the record. So this is a condominium, showing you all the information for the condo. If you notice, there are some little blue plus signs next to some of these. That means there's someone else on the title for the home. So here's Joshua and Laura, and then a Joshua and Betsy. So this is just basically when you click that little plus sign, it just shows you who else is on the title for that property. All right. Do we have any questions on the owner name search? All right. Next, we'll go to the tax key search. I don't know how often you guys use this. In my time that I've worked here since 2002, I've never had anybody ask me about a tax key search or how to do one or help them with one. But I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to show you actually 2 of them. Okay, so first one I'm going to use City of Mequon for the tax key number. Now, so if you have a tax key number and you're looking at it on the tax record or the tax bill, then you can just pop that in there, 150-171-400-600, all together, no space. So now when I hit search, there's that property. That's where they get their bills on Lakeshore Drive. Address is the same, lets you know if it's owner occupied. You've got these little links here if you wanted to see that address on a map. So if you click MapQuest, that'll open that map up in MapQuest and show you where it is. And it switched me over to my location here. Or in Google Maps, that'll show you where it is in Google Maps. That's what those little links are for. All right. Now, let's say if you looked up a listing, I'm just going to switch back over to my Flex tab here. So let's say we pulled up a particular listing. So I'm going to enter in a list number here, 1524555, just to show you an example. All right, so this listing, that happens to be a WireX listing, and that's fine. So when I look at the tax record, oops, I popped in the wrong one probably. Let's see. 1524555, is that what it popped in? Oh, there it is. That's the one I want in Gibraltar. All right. So this listing is up in Door County. So if you happen to see a tax key number that looks like this, that has other characters in it other than, letters and numbers like the dashes, the system does not like those. So I'm just going to copy it and just kind of show you what happens. So I'm just going to modify this search. Actually, I'm going to clear these counties out because we don't have Door County in. So let me go to choose counties and get rid of those. I think, there we go. All right, so I'm going to search Door County. So I'm going back over to tax key. So there is door. All right, I don't remember what municipality that was, so I'm just going to put a check and search entire county. So when you take that with the characters in it like that, it'll tell you it can't find it. If you ever have a tax key number, if you happen to search and it's got characters in it, get rid of those characters. And then you'll get the property like that. So if you ever see that, just get rid of those characters. It doesn't like it. All right. So do we have any questions on the tax key number search? All right, I don't see any hands, so we'll move on. Next is the all field search. I think this is a really useful search, and it doesn't get used a lot because I guess a lot of people don't quite know what to do with it. Let me get Dork County out of there. All field search is when you need to search on something, but it's different than address, address range, owner name. And you might want to search on, as far as residential property types of certain assessment value or, something other than what's here. So if you needed to search on something other than what these other ones have, you want to go into an all-field search. So let me set up my counties again. So there's Milwaukee, Waukesha, Washington, and Ozaukee. There we go. All right, so this is everything that you have the ability to search on in all field search. Owner name, tax key number, a street number range on a particular street name if you wanted to look at every property that was on, West North Avenue or East North Avenue. Property class. Unfortunately, you'll see condominium separated, but for example, if you wanted to search on single family property class, there is no single family in there, it's just residential. So you kind of have to sort those out from the two families. I think multifamilies are listed as something else. But what is really easy, what I really like about that, and I'm just going to kind of do a slow scroll down the screen so you can see everything that you can search on. Again, remember, less is more, though, so put in your most important information. This is what I like about this screen. Legal description. This allows you to search on a subdivision name, okay? So I am going to come back up here, and in Wauwatosa, there is a subdivision called Washington Highlands. I drive past it every day. If you see that pretty wooden sign outside, it's 2 words, Washington Highlands, so watch this. All right, so 2 words, we've got it there. I'm going to hit search. Okay, so you're like, okay, there, Washington Highlands is bigger than, 4 properties here. Why would that happen? I don't understand. So we're going to modify the search here, and we're going to scroll down, and this is what I found. I'm going to separate the words here, high space lands, and hit search. And there we are, 375 total parcels. Now, how I found that out one day was that when I searched it and only those, few came up, I'm like, that's not right. So I did a search on an address in that area. I'm just going to open up a tax record and show you. And this is how I found out that that's the way it was spelled. So if you're ever doing a subdivision search and you know that that's the correct subdivision and nothing's not coming up, search on a particular address in that area. Or if you want to learn what the subdivision is, search on a particular address in that area, open up the tax report, and look in the legal description, and it'll have it down there. Okay? So this is great, especially if you want to create mailing labels and send out postcards to a particular subdivision. With spring coming, that's a popular thing to do when you've got people thinking about maybe putting their homes up for sale and you want to target certain areas. This is a good way to do that. I'm going to show you how to do mailing labels in a little bit using parcel cards. Okay, but how we got there again, that was all fields. Choose your municipality and scroll on down. That's the legal description field. Again, if you don't know what the legal description of an area is, do an address search on a parcel that's in that area and look in the legal description on the tax record, and you should be able to find it there. Okay? Any questions on all fields? Okay, Linda, and your question? Okay, Linda's asking, do you have to select a property class? No, you don't have to select a property class unless you wanted to narrow it down to a particular property class. In a situation, I typically would not select a property class unless I got so many results that, okay, I need something to kind of filter this down. Then I would modify that search and go back into property class and select whatever it was that I was looking for. Does that answer your question? Awesome. Okay. Only search I usually start off with the bare minimum of what I have to have. And then depending on how many results I get, I'll whittle it down with one or two more filters. Again, less is more, and you might need to see all of that to see what's in it before you need to scale it down a little bit more. All right. All right, next, I kind of skipped over it because you guys don't use it a lot. We do have members that are appraisers in the system that use the assessment search, just to show you. The assessment search. Let's say you wanted to search in the village of Shorewood, residential properties with a minimum of 1/3 to 1 acre of the parcel of land. So just to show you how to do that, I'm going to go here under municipalities in Milwaukee and select Shorewood. So then I'm going to do the property class of residential because that's what I really care about. I don't care about any business or anything, so I do want to sort that down. There we go, residential. So for land total, I'm going to do a minimum of 1/3 and a maximum of 1/2. If you just want to do a minimum or just a maximum, feel free to do that. So once I've got that in there, I'm going to hit search. Whoops, no matching parcels are found, so let me try something else. Let's see. Let's do 2. A minimum of 2. All right, we're still not getting anything. Let's get rid of that maximum and let's see what we can get. All right, so now you see this. Your search has yielded over 3,000 results. Viewing more than 3,000 may seriously decrease your computer's performance. You can modify the search at this point, or if you just want to look and see what's there, I hit browse anyway. So just to take a peek at one of those results to see why wasn't it giving me anything else. So here I had acres total right here. So this one is 0.143, so I'm not quite sure why that one came up. All right. But that's assessment search, and as realtors, you guys really aren't going to use that. As you can see, I really don't show you guys that much on that. Any questions on that? All right, I don't see any hands, so I'll keep going. So the next thing you see in the search list there is quick searches, okay? So I'm going to show you what a quick search is and how to use it, and then I'll show you how to create one if you ever feel so inclined to do so. So what a quick search is, it's kind of the same thing if you've ever used quick searches over on the Flex side. I'm just going to switch tabs here. So if you've ever used like a quick search where your screen is split and it's got preset fields for you to search, you just open up the fields that you want to search and you get going. That's kind of the same idea over on this side. So I've got one set up called Assessors, because whenever we have classes for assessors, this is what I show them. So this was a quick search that I created. It's not automatically in your account. None of these are, you have to create them. So within this assessor quick search that I created, these are the fields that I added for that search. So to use it, I just hit use. Okay, so I brought up my pre-selected county, so I'm just gonna go to Wauwatosa. All right, so for acres total, I am going to do, let's try that 0.3 again to 1. For assessment total, I'm going to do 175,000. Let's say I'll do 250 as a maximum. All right. Basement, I want to do full basement. There we go. Okay, let's say I want to look at a minimum of 3 bedrooms here. Building square feet, let's say I want to do a minimum of 1,250 to a maximum of 1,500. Full baths, a minimum of 2. Gonna skip garage. Half baths, a minimum of 1. So this will search for properties in the city of Wauwatosa with these parameters. So once I hit search, it brought up one property. So this is one matching property for those parameters. So let's say, okay, well, let me expand my search criteria a little bit. So again, you've got that modify search button that's over here. So let's say I expand that to 280. See if we can get a few more. Oh, we got one more. So here, if I open up one of these properties, those parameters should match. So there's my assessment. This one's 263.5. So there's the 3 bedroom, minimum 2 bath, minimum half bath. So as realtors, again, you may or may not use this, but I know our appraiser members do use that. But that's how you can set up a quick search. I mean, that's how you can use a quick search. Now, if you'd like to set one up for yourself, maybe there's a certain set of criteria that you'd like to search when you're, maybe doing something with a CMA or trying to, analyze an area or what have you. To set up a quick search, that's under setup. So when you click on setup, it opens up 4 options for you. You'll go to quick searches. All right, so here's the existing quick searches. There's my assessors one. So now I want to create one by doing new. So I'll click the new button. All right. So once it brings you over to this create a new quick search screen, we're going to name this quick search. So I'm just going to call it realtor data. All right. So now that I've given this custom quick search a name, these are all of the fields that you can choose from the setup for that quick search parameter. Okay. So you can either select them one at a time by clicking it and click add, or you can hold down your control key on your keyboard and just kind of go through and select what you need. So I'm just going to pick a few: full baths, half baths, land total, and property class maybe. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. So once I've got all of those selected, when I hit add, it'll add them all over at the same time. If you want them to appear in a particular order, you can move them around. So if I wanted property class first, I'll select it and hit move up until I get it to where I want. Okay, so maybe I want bedrooms next, full baths, half baths, basement, acres total, land total. I don't need land total because I've got acres total. So let me get rid of land total. So I'll select that and hit delete. So just if you need to edit anything, that's what these little buttons are over here for. Once you've got this set up, you hit save search. So now your quick search is successfully saved. You click OK. So now underneath search, when I come to quick searches, there it is right there. And then when you use it, you hit use, and there's those fields for you to pop in whatever you want. Okay. So that's the quick search, setting up the quick search. Don't know too many of you realtors who use that, because when you're searching stuff, you generally are kind of all over the place. It's always kind of different. Outside of searching an address or an owner name, you guys don't really do the assessments information. So do we have any questions on that? Alrighty. Next is save searches. Now this is where you guys, I believe you could use it. It's probably something that you don't know about that I think that you could use. So a save search is the same kind of thing that on the Flex side, I'm just going to switch tabs here. If you've got a saved search in Flex, so maybe something that you run search on a lot, you already set it up. So I've got a save search called delayed hot sheet. just to check to see what's new for hot sheet, for new for these property types for delayed listings. So when I hit view all, it's searching on those parameters and giving me the most updated listings for that. If I search on this tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it'll change. So it's the same idea over here. So I've created these searches that you've got here. So a couple of them I use for address ranges, and I'm going to show you that because that until we get map searching, being able to capture parcels using a map shape, this is kind of the way that you've got to kind of create your map shapes, quote unquote, over here. And then I've got a couple of subdivision searches. So let's say I'm a realtor and every spring I like to run mailing labels and send out to these areas. So here I created a Ravenswood subdivision search just to show you. So I just did an all field search in the city of Wauwatosa for legal description Ravenswood. So that's the subdivision. So if I hit run, it's giving me everyone in the Ravenswood subdivision, 284 parcels. So this way I can just go right up here and I can run mailing labels. I can export the data from these into a CSV file if I wanted to. I can pick certain ones and add them to a parcel cart, all kind of good stuff. Okay. Let me show you that other save search that's here. So we do get this question a lot here. So you know how you can draw map shapes over on the flex side to capture listings within a certain map area. If you don't, I'll just do one real quick. Let me just go here, map search. All right, so let's say, I'm just going to close this. So let's say I wanted to do in a 2-mile radius of Mayfair Mall, just to make things easy. So let me find Mayfair Mall. Okay, this is Mayfair Mall right here. So let's say I do a, yep, and 2-mile radius. There we go. Roughly. Okay, so this way, if any parameters I input over here is capturing whatever I'm asking for as far as parameters in this shape. A lot of people would like, well, can I do the same thing for mailing labels? I want to draw an area or on a map, and whether if it's a current listing or it's not a current listing, I'd like to pull those addresses because I'd like to send mailing labels to the address. Right now, you can't do that. Hopefully by the end of this year, you can do it. But so our way around it in WireData is basically doing a grid. So what I did in this situation, I looked at a map and I looked at the address ranges on every street that I wanted to make labels for. So this is the River West area. So between the 2700 block and the 3500 block of these 5 streets, I wanted to pull labels for. Okay, so because sometimes this is kind of work intensive, and if you feel that you're going to use it again, save that as a search. So now if I were to select that and hit run, it's pulling all of the parcels between those address ranges on those 5 streets where I can pick through or create mailing labels for all of them. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you ever have an instance that you have to do this, you'll know how. So what I do first, since I'm not the most, proficient on where streets are, I went to menu, and underneath Maps Financial, I went to Flex MLS Maps. So let's say around our office over here on 115th and North Avenue, there's an address range of a few streets that I'd like to pull labels for. So I'm going to locate our office here. So we're right kind of, is that Capitol? Oh, there's North. So we're right by Turnpike here. All right. So I'm going to zoom down a little bit more. All right. So here, let's say I wanted to do an address range from the 2300 block to the 2700 block from North Avenue, Meineke, Clark, and Center. All right, so here I may have not known, well, what are those streets? So I want to look at the area that I want. So this is us right here. This is our office. So this is starting at the 2300 block. When you zoom down See, if I'm at this zoom, I can't see any detail. But when I zoom down a little bit more, and how I'm zooming down, I'm just pushing that little scroll wheel on my mouse. That's how I find out the beginning address range of the street. So I want to start at North Avenue at the 2300 block. So I want to get north. I want to get Meineke, the addresses on North, Meineke, Clark, and Center Street, between the 2300 block and the 2700 block. So those are those houses that run north and south. Okay. If I want to get the streets, the houses on the east and west streets, that would be between the street numbers. So that's starting from here. Let's say I'm trying to get everything in from this little rectangle that you see here. So that's 113th Street, 114th Street, 115th Street, and 116th Street. So that would go by these numbers. So between 113th through 116th. You see how I did that? So you're lining up the street numbers and the addresses. So the ones going east and west, 113th through 116th, starts at this address range, 113th through 116th. Going north and south, that are these streets, North, Meineke, Clark, and Center, starting from this 2300 address going through 2700. I just like to make it even. All right, so now that I've kind of verbally made a grid, I've written it on a Post-it note because I would never remember it. I'm going to come back over here to WireData, and I'm going to do my address range search. All right. Okay. So once you're in address range, you choose your municipality that you're doing it for. So I'm doing it for Wauwatosa. So now I'm going to do the streets that run north and south first. So I'm going to start at the 2300 block and end at the 2700 block. So I'm doing it for North Avenue. So I'm going to type in North, Meineke. I hope I spelled that right. Next one was Clark. And then the last one was Center. All right, so I'm just going to copy and then just paste. Yep. Paste, paste, and then copy, paste, paste, and paste. All right. So that's the 2300 block through the 2700 block on all of these streets that run the same direction. Okay. So now I'm going to flip that grid to the other side to do the east-west. So that started with the 1300 to 1600 blocks of, and in this case, I'm going to do, that was 113th Street, 114th Street, 115th Street, and 116th Street. And again, we're going to do the copy paste thing, or you can type it in, whatever's easier for you. All right, and copy, right-click paste, right-click paste. And don't worry, I'm recording this. All right, so that's basically that triangle here that I showed you. How I got to this map, I clicked on Menu, and underneath Maps Financial, I clicked on Flex MLS Maps. You don't need to like pull up listings or anything to see the map if you don't need to. All right. So now that I've got that grid in here, I'm going to hit search. Whoa. Okay, so it's not finding something here. And this is where we're going to do our learning experiment. Mary, I need the directionals. So let's try that. All right, so let's see if that works. Still not finding it. Okay. Maybe these are crossing over into Milwaukee. Let's see. All right, here we go. So some of these probably are, yeah, City of Milwaukee. That was it. So these are those parcels. And that's why they didn't come up. I was searching Wauwatosa, and they were registered in the city of Milwaukee. So they were 98 parcels. So now, again, if you want to save this because you feel that maybe next year you're going to run this area all the time for mailing labels, and that was kind of a little bit of work. How you save any search on the results screen, you've got the Save Search button. So when I hit Save, and then I'm just going to call it today's range, but you call it whatever you want to. Maybe whatever to match the project that you're working on. And then you're saving the search criteria. So the owner names may change from now to next year. It'll update it in our system. All right. So once I save the search criteria, when you go over to Save Search, there it is for you, and you can run it at any time. You can make as many of these as you want to. So if you're the type of agent that you like to farm a lot of areas, it's a lot of work on the front end, but once you save it as a search, all you got to do is come in here and you run it, whenever you want to run your labels. Okay? Do we have any questions on the Save Search? Now Linda has a question. What is your question? Let me expand my little window here so I can read it. All right. Linda asks, what is a CSV file? Suggestions for locating owners who do not reside in the property. Okay, what a CSV file is, a comma separated file. So if you've ever worked in Excel or a spreadsheet program, those are the types of programs that take CSV files, or if you import information like into a program like Outlook or anything like that. So it's the comma separated value is what that CSV stands for, comma separated value. Let me run one and I'll show you real quick. Hopefully there is a program on this machine that can open it up. Oh, sorry. So I got to select stuff first. It wants you to know, it's to select it. And when you hit this little select button here, it selects all of your parcels. Even though we can only see 12 on this screen, it selects all of the parcels on all of them. So all 98 are selected. So when I go data export, and I'll just run the CSV, export data file. So there's my data file. So you see it wants to open up in my spreadsheet program. That's what a CSV file is. So it will open up in your spreadsheet program, or it'll allow you to import this data into another program that accepts a CSV file. Okay? So did that answer the CSV file question for you, Linda, before I go on to your second question? Oh, okay. So let me close this. So suggestions for locating owners who do not reside in the property. When you, it wants me to do something that it keeps singing at me. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let me see if any of these properties have different owners here, so I can kind of show you with an example. Let me do back over here. Alrighty, owner name, property address. Let me switch it to a different view, and what I'm about to do, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I'm switching the view field. So what the view are the columns that you see here. So everybody has the standard view. Everybody has that one. That one comes with your Flex account. You can create your own views to display more information. So I created one called Standard Plus, so I can see more on the search results screen without having to open up tax records to look at everything. So here, this is the owner name and address and the property address that's here. So I'm going to look and see if there's a difference here. You can send labels when you make your mailing labels. I'm just going to go here. Oh. Again, I need to select some stuff. When you make your mailing labels, you can choose what address to use, the owner address or the property address. You got to pick one or the other. The owner address may be the same as the property address, but that's not always the case. So just keep that in mind. Let me back up a screen. But how you differentiate here, let me find one. Okay, so here's one right here. So here's the property address, but this is the owner's address. Okay, so that's where the tax bill goes to. So the owner lives someplace else on Prospect Avenue. They may be renting this house out or whatever they're doing it, or maybe they've just got two houses. So that's how you can differ if the owner lives someplace else. It'll also be on the tax record. So if I pop it open right here, this is the property address, but that's where the tax bills go to. Okay, so keep in mind when you're making your mailing labels, where do you want your business postcard to go to? This is how you can differentiate the property address and where the tax bills go to, the owner address. And also, I'm going to show you how to make this view because this makes it a lot easier being able to see the owner name and address right next to the property address where you can look through the list and say, okay, there's one where, it's not the same, that their tax bills are going to someplace else. Okay. Did I answer that for you, Linda? I kind of feel like I went off the reservation a little bit. Okay, the very first step. Let me see, where was I at the first step? So what I did, I just pulled up a search, any kind of search. All right. So let me just go back here. So when I pulled up my search results, here, this is the view that everybody has. It shows you the property address. In this view, you would have to open up the tax record to see if these addresses were different. So here the property address and the owner's address is listed as the same. So this is where the tax bills get sent to. This is the actual property address. Now, I'm going to show you how to make this view, but just so you can see, here's an example of where the property address and the owner address is different. So I'm going to pop that tax record open. So this is the property address. So whatever parameters that you searched on, this is what's going to come up. This is where the tax bills are being sent to here. So this is considered the owner's address and the property address. If they're different, you'll see the difference here. So owner address, property address. So if you're creating mailing labels, it's going to give you a choice of what address to use. Do you want the whatever business postcard that you're sending out to go to the property address, or did you want it to go to the owner's address? A lot of cases the property address is the same as the owner's, but there's cases where it's not. You can't do a mix of both. You have to pick one or the other. Is that the step that you missed? Or was it another step? Often the tax bills go to an LLC without the person's name. And that, like here, when the municipality of Wauwatosa sends out the tax bills, this is exactly how it's being addressed. Whatever you see here is how that municipality addresses those tax bills to send out. So sometimes it's not a person's name. Did that answer your question? So whatever's listed here on the owner side is how that municipality addresses those tax bills to go out. And that's something that we put it in the system, but we can't manipulate or kind of differentiate other than the way that it is by property address and owner address. Does that answer your question? Okay. Alrighty. Alright, let me close this. Alrighty. So that was me showing you a saved search. So what I did was I did an address range, and because address range searches, sometimes you spend a lot of time on them. If there's any type of search that you've created that you want to save those parameters, just like you're saving search parameters on the Flex side to run at a later date, you can always hit that save search button on your search results screen, and they will be listed in here for you under your save searches. And whenever you want to run it, you just select it and you hit run. Okay? All right. So next, I'm going to show you how to create parcel cards. So parcel cards is kind of the same idea as if you're familiar with a listing collection on the Flex MLS side. If you're not, I'll just quickly show you what a listing collection is. I'm just going to do a search real quick. Let me just slide the screen over here. So I'm just going to do single family active, Milwaukee, and then I'm just going to go to address school and do a zip code, 53207. All right. So let's say you did a search and you've got a customer that's interested in a, few areas or whatever, and you just want to manual email, you want to kind of audit the properties and select certain ones to send them. So let's say you audited this search and maybe these first 3 that you want to send. Okay. So you can save these because you want to email everything out at once. So once you've selected the listings that you want to save to a cart, you come up here to save and save selected as and give that collection a name. I'm just going to call it my cart. All right. And save those 3 listings to that cart. Okay. So now maybe you want to do another search, but this time on condominium. Do Milwaukee, and I'll do another zip code search for 53202. All right, so let's say you audited these and you're going to pick the first 3 to save in that same cart. So when you select them, you go to save selected as. You can save it to that existing cart by clicking your mouse in that field. Once your carts appear, select the cart that you want to save it to, and then you're adding those 3 listings to that same cart. So once you basically shopped for your listings to pull up those 6 listings or however many that you save, you go to menu, you go to listing collection. So there it is right there, my 6 listings. I can view those listings. So at this point, you can email them, print them, do a CMA, whatever you want. And that's what a listing collection is. Okay. You're saving particular list numbers to a cart. It's kind of like when you go into the grocery store, you don't go to the dairy section and then check out and then go to produce and check out. You go to each section of the store, you pick what you want from that section, put it in your one cart and check out one time. Okay. So if that's how you make a listing collection, the Flex side. Same thing you can do on the WireData side. Maybe you want to run labels, but for different areas. So you want to do those labels in like even amounts, because the label sheets that we use, the Avery 5160s or the generic compatibles, there's 30 labels to a sheet. So maybe you want to make sure that you've got your collections at a number like 30, 60, 90, so you can print them all out at one time. Okay, so these are carts. This is a cart that I have saved up here. So if I wanted to run that cart, that's how many parcels I have in that cart. I can view the parcels and I can run the labels. I'm going to show you how to make a parcel cart. So let's say you wanted to do a search, and I'm going to do a subdivision search just to make it easy. So we're going to go here and go to Wauwatosa. So let's say I wanted to do Ravenswood. All right, and I'll hit search. All righty, so there's 284 total parcels in Ravenswood subdivision. If you want to go through each one and cherry pick, you can. If you want to select all of them, just hit your select button and then you can add them to your cart. But I'm just going to pick a few. So I'll pretend like I went through everything and, these are the ones that I chose. So once I've selected my listings, I'm going to go here to parcel carts. And then I'm going to give this cart a name. So I'm just going to call it Milwaukee County. If I want to give this cart a description, maybe I want to, put in a little description of what it is that I'm working on for my notes for myself so I can remember. I don't have to. Then once I've created, I'm going to hit Save Parcels. So now those listings that I selected are saved. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to run a totally different search for another area in Milwaukee. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go into all fields again. This time I'm going to do Milwaukee. And I am going to, now I'll do Wauwatosa again. Let me get rid of Milwaukee. And I'll do Washington Highlands this time. I'll go ahead and select it. It's already there for me. And search. All right, so there's a total of 375 parcels in Washington Highland. I can choose them all by hitting select, or I can cherry pick again. So I'll just do them all by hitting select and go to parcel cards. And then select my previously created cart that I want to save it to and hit save parcels. All right, so now when I'm ready to run my labels to access my parcel cart, I'll come over here into the menu and click on parcel carts, select my cart, and view parcels. All right, so now I have a total of 382 parcels I want to make labels for. I'll hit select. I'll go to mailing labels. So this is the generate mailing labels for the properties you have selected. So I can choose my formatting options, first name first, last name first, include our current resident, what address I want to use. Do I want to use the owner address or the property address, and the print order. A note that labels are formatted for Avery 5160. So now that I've made my formatting options, I'll click generate PDF label file. All right, so there's my label file that opened up here. I'm using Google Chrome, so whenever Google Chrome downloads a file, it pops it over here into this left-hand corner. Firefox tends to pop up a window and ask what you want to do with it. So I'm just going to open up that file, and there's my labels. And I can just pop my label paper in the printer and get going. What I typically like to do is, or I suggest doing, is print out the first 3 pages of labels on like regular paper and hold them up to the light to make sure that they line up, because sometimes they will kind of run off if there's a weird character, like there's extra, like a really long trust or something in there. Anything that has a really long name tends to throw the labels off, so check for that first. Once you can make sure that they line up, you should be good to go. All right, and those parcel cards, save searches, quick searches, parcel cards, all of that stuff stays in your account. We don't go in and delete anything, and you can make as many as you'd like. Okay, do we have any questions on parcel cards? Save searches and parcel cards, I can see that realtors would use those a lot if you farm a lot of areas to send out your business postcards maybe once or twice a year. That way, setting up the search or the parcel card and then just running it, because it updates it when we update our records. All right, just to show you some preferences here that you can change. Whenever you do a search, you get that standard view. Let me just do a quick one here real quick just to show you. I'm going to do Joshua Smith again. So just to show you. So whenever you do a search in the system, it'll show you a maximum of 12 parcels on a page using this view that you see right here. Okay? Now you can change that. Now, like I show you, I created a view called Standard Plus, where a lot of information that I need to see on a really frequent basis, I just pop it out here on the search results screen so I don't have to open up each individual tax record and look for it. All right, so I'm going to show you how to create a view, your own custom view. How you do that, that's underneath Setup. So when you click on Setup and it opens up your options here, you click on Browse Views. All right, so these are the views that I have in my account. Yours should probably be empty because the standard one just comes with your account. So to create a view, you're going to click on the New button. This will bring you into the Create a New Custom Parcel View screen. So you can call this view whatever you want to. I'm just going to call it My View. All right. Again, these are all of the columns that you can put on that search results screen. So think about the information that it is that you'd like to see. If you pulled up a group of 50 parcels, what is it that you like to see? Do you want to see the property class, the tax key, the owner name and address, the property address? What is it that you typically want to see on that search results screen? So again, you can either choose them one at a time, or you can hold down your Control key and make all of your selections. Oops. If you accidentally select something, just select it again and it'll deselect it. Let's see, we will do full bass, half bass. I'm just picking some stuff just to kind of show you how to do it. Owner address, owner name, property address. All right, so I'm just going to stop there. So once I've selected what I want, I'll pop it over here, and then you can move them in the order that you'd like them to see. So let's say we want the owner name first. I'm going to pop that up at the top. Owner address, I'm going to make that second. Property address, I want that right next to the owner address so I can see if they're the same or not. I'll leave the rest of the way that it is, and then I'll hit Save View. All right, so now it's saved. I'll do OK. So now if I go over here and I do any other search, I'm going to do the Joshua Smith again just to show you. Oops. All right, so now that I'm here, you can switch your view up here. There's the My View little drop-down menu. So that's that view that I just created. You can always go in there and edit that if you want to. If there's columns you want to add or remove, you just go back under Setup, Browse Views, select that view, hit Edit, and then make whatever changes that you want to. Okay? Any questions on making a custom view? All right, last thing I'm going to show you is your preferences. So my preference, I'll come right in here. So remember when we were opening up the tax record and it was showing us the assessor's view, and you typically switch it to the full report view so you can see everything. This is where you can set those defaults, okay? So if you want to set up default counties here, you can. I'm going to clear that out. Number of matches per browse screen. The 12 is what's the default. You can go up to a maximum of 99. It won't let you go past 99, but you can go up to a maximum of 99. When displaying details for a parcel, start with, you typically want this to read your full report view because that's what we were already switching it to so we could see all of the sections at one time, okay? When browsing parcels, use this view. This is where you can set the default for views that you create. So I'm going to switch it back to my standard plus there. So I bumped it up where I can see 99 matches per screen. I want to see the full report view, and I want to use my created standard plus view. I'm going to save these settings. All right. So now I'm just going to do an owner name search in Milwaukee with a bunch of stuff so I can show you. We'll do Wauwatosa. And I'm just going to do the last name Smith. I'm not going to search on the first name. So when I hit search, there we go. So now there's only a total of 64 parcels with the last name Smith. But I can see them all. And if there was more than that, I could see up to 99. Here's my custom view that I use. So you can see over here it's using my standard plus view that I put as my default. So this is the columns that I have in my standard plus view. I've got the owner name, the owner address, property address with the owner city, state, county, municipality, the property class, acres total, the legal description, school district, zip code, and zoning. You can make this whatever you want to for your own view, but this is just an example. Now when I click on the little magnifying glass to look at a tax record, there's a full report view. So I'm seeing all of the sections at one time. I don't have to switch anything, even if I've selected a few to look at. So I'm going to select 5 because I want to see all the reports. So now when you select them, you can hit details. So there's the first address. Then I can just page through using next. All right, next. So by me changing my default in preferences to the full report view, it automatically opens up with that. If you want to print the report, you've got your print report up here. Search criteria, it's looking at what you searched on in case you forgot. Okay. The report options is basically showing if you want to see the all tax or sales, and of course we want to see that, so I'm going to cancel that. ID walk up and down. That will walk you up and down according to tax key number. So sometimes it might throw you into a different municipality walking up and down because it's going in order of tax key number and not address. All right. And I can quit that ID walk. So this is where you can change those preferences. And again, 99 is the maximum. You want to use the full report view. Once you've created your own custom view, you can browse your parcels using that. That's real helpful when you find yourself going in and out of tax records to look at particular information, when you can load it right on that search results screen to save you some time. All right. Do we have any questions on anything that we've gone over here today? All right, well, I don't see any hands raised, so I want to thank you for spending some of your time with me. Again, like I said before at the beginning of the webinar, this is being recorded, so within 24 hours, I will be mailing it out to you guys. So if you need to review it, you can. If you want to share it with a coworker, feel free to do that. If you have any questions or concerns on anything regarding FlexMLS, give us a call at 414-778-5450, and we'll be glad to help you out. This will conclude our webinar on tax information in FlexMLS. You guys have a great day, and you sell lots.